We are live. Namaste, good evening, Adab, Sastiyakal, Bonjour. I hope everybody is safe and fine, and you and your loved ones are safe. I'm Ashish Banka, National President of HR Sampark, coming back again to you for the 10th episode of MAD Making a Difference. Uh, I'm so delighted that we could come this way forward, and thank you, audience, for your all support and encouragement. I want to thank all my previous guests who share their experience and journey, and all the participants for appreciating this concept. A disclaimer: all the discussion done today is based on individual ideas, thoughts, relevance, and not specifically related to any company, industry, or individual. Sampark for all those who have joined new today. We are a non-profit trust formed 3 years back through a WhatsApp group. Now we have chapter presence in Mumbai, Delhi, and Calcutta, over 400 members. And we keep doing a lot of events, academia, industry, interface, and knowledge sharing. We are also glad to create a social initiative to help professionals to create a job group in Telegram. We have over 600 members now, and we try to extend that support to everybody. We'll also be unveiling Knowledge Carva series, and stay tuned on social media to know more about it. Last 9 episodes have been a roller coaster ride, identifying a new HR emerging leader always, and learning from the HR stalwarts. It's an esteemed privilege. Today again, with this journey continues, and I am so excited you to introduce who have helped us. This leader has helped us to design a whole new perspective of design and execution, and giving a very new innovative flavor to it. Our esteemed guest, HR learner and leader, Miss Kalpana Sachdeva. I'm so glad to have you on this series, KS. We will address that in this. This easier for people to know. KS is a business leader with 15 years of experience, inspiring geographically distributed HR team. She is, responsible as head of HR, aligning purpose, mission, growth for the organization and its employees, leading from front and supporting from behind. That is something which she is continuously doing, and she understands the pulse of the organizations, help people, cross-cultural teams to connect, and importantly has a seamless communication. Currently she is heading the HR function for India, South Korea, and Kazakhstan for Linstorm. Previously she has been associated with G4S. I've been fortunate to connect with KS on a LinkedIn platform a couple of months back. She expressed her willingness to be associated with the series. I'm glad she liked the concept, and we are so truly overwhelmed with her presence today. I feel it's a big achievement in and all for that. And KS is not only a renowned HR professional, but her ability to simplify things and take her communication across levels is phenomenal. Knowing her for past few months, I can say she is an institution in herself, willing to share her journey, knowledge, and supporting people selflessly. I think that is what I have inculcated from her. Without further delay, let's allow the stalwart and the magician to craft the aura of sharing knowledge and unveiling the journey of another enthusiastic HR professional. I am glad HR Sampark is glad to have Kalpana and our HR enthusiast, whom we will unveil in way. And thank you so much for your presence. Over to you, Kalpana.
Thank you so much, Ashish. I think it's such a long introduction. So I prefer to call myself lifelong learner, the new word which you have given to us. So yeah, so that's what I would like to introduce myself now onwards. So thank you for your kind words once again. So today's spotlight is on Githika, our HR enthusiast. So though I had a very small interaction with the Githika, but maybe I would be able to introduce her in a couple of words. But before that, Ashish, I think such a beautiful platform, HR Sampark, MAT series, making a difference. So I really like the tagline, making a difference. So I've seen couple of previous HR stalwarts and learners videos, and I could sense that how they have shared their experiences with their personal lives, professional lives, and how it will definitely make a difference in many of HR enthusiasts' life as well, including mine. So because I say myself now a lifelong learner. So yeah, if you see my tagline also, it's like learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that's how I try to explain. whenever somebody asks me about myself. So yeah, not taking much time. So let's introduce Gitika Sharma to this beautiful series of HR Sampark, which is called MAD, Making a Difference. So Gitika Sharma, an HR professional with 13 plus years of diverse experience in staffing function. So, Githika, I don't know whether you know it or not. I also started my career with a consulting firm into staffing only. So that's the common background we both share here. And then she has started her career in staffing, so obviously with talent acquisition and resource management. She has worked with both consulting firm and corporate, so there are many I think things quite common in both of our lives, professional experiences to be very precise. So you started your career with a consulting firm and then moved into corporate. I started my career in a consulting firm and then moved into a corporate. So let's see. I think this will be quite an interesting session today to learn from you specifically. And then she has strong skills in stakeholder management, demand supply analysis, and workforce planning, people development, deployment, and bench management and people engagement, capability building. Oh wow, that's nice. So she also holds experience in contract management and developing the right talent acquisition strategies. So I would be eager to hear from you, Githika. So throughout my life, I think I was just wondering that do I really know the best talent acquisition strategies or not? So let's see what Githika says and what new she can teach us today. So over to you, Githika. So all the very best to all of us. I won't say only to you, to all of us. Let's try to make this series quite interesting because today is the 10th episode of HR Sampark Mad series, isn't it, Ashish? Making a difference series. So yeah, over to you, Githika. Githika, you're on mute. That's the most common word of 2020. I think I have to use it
I'm
again.
so sorry. It is a habit to go on mute over the calls every day. So sorry for that. So I was saying that to begin with, a big thank you to you, Kalpana, for such a great introduction about me. Also, thank you so much, Ashish, for giving me this particular platform to share my journey. And a big thank you together to both of you for waiting for so long for this session to happen. I know, like, I was down with COVID in between, and then we were supposed to do this session 3 or 4 weeks back, I think. And then this happened, and then all of us like patiently really waited that we have to make this session happen. And luckily, we are making the 10th episode of it together. And very nice to know, Kalpana, that you also come from a similar background. Like, you started your career with the contract with the consulting firm, and then you moved to a corporate. So I'm sure, like, you would understand the journey also in more detail. That the challenges, the paradigm shift, what all a person goes through. So what we are talking about is something 10 years or 12 years back when we were in the industry. So how things were there then. So all right, so that is about and before I begin about my journey, a quick introduction of Ashish as well. Ashish has been a passionate HR leader with over 13 years of experience in HR domain. He specializes in talent acquisition, performance management, and employee engagement. Currently, he's employed with Compass Group, leading the people function there. He is also a founder and managing trustee for HR Sampark, the platform we are part of today here. All right, so I can begin for everybody to be there. Uh, I just a quick background about me. I was brought up in Delhi. All my education has happened over here. I'm a daughter of a defense officer, and my mother has been a teacher for several years. Uh, a fact about me, I studied in the same school that my mother was teaching in. So just imagine, like, what kind of childhood or school days I've actually gone through. Um, so that is about, like, it was definitely not a very normal life like a school student does have. I had a very different life, a lot of restrictions, a lot of responsibility in terms of, oh, I have to behave like this, as it's going to be like, a complaint is going to be there to my mom directly and immediately after the class. So all that pressure which I have gone through, being a teacher's ward, you cannot bunk. You cannot be like as naughty as the other people or other students in the class. And of course the feedback or the complaint going on like immediately. So I remember like one instance that I would want to share here on the platform, how uh, I would say tragic it is to be being a teacher's ward and studying in the same school. You cannot bunk, right? When you're like in class 11th or 12th, every child wants to experience that thing. I had one of my classmates. She was also a teacher's ward. We both decided that we will go together, and we just left our class before the teacher arrived. Uh, Unfortunately, we were caught by the principal. And imagine what feedback we got. Being teacher's ward, you're not supposed to do this. So as if we were just not normal students there. So that is one thing. I mean, which still I remember, and I wanted to share on this platform that how people relate to it. Coming back to my journey and my career, how I landed in HR. Why did I choose HR? I introspect a lot, and that is what helped me to choose HR. When I was in like plus two, I was actually a science student. But when I did an introspection, I realized that, I am good at people management skills. I love talking to people. I love helping people or understanding their problems and then be empathetic to them. Uh, Along with that, I also realized that, I can be a strong leader because I can really think from people's perspective, being in their shoes and how they would be feeling in a particular situation. And if you can do that, probably you can really figure out a helping hand or a solution for them. So when I realized all that, slowly, I also become a strong believer of ethics, integrity, empathy, selfless help, upliftment, and of course, leading. And I think like that is something also comes in the blood when I'm a daughter of defense officer and a teacher together. So these are the values being taught at home also. And definitely like I thought HR could be a great platform to bring all this together. And that's why it gives me an opportunity to help people by various ways, maybe by providing them right opportunities, which is matching their skills or their interests or maybe the aspirations what they carry, helping them to choose the right career path when they have joined the organization, that what kind of role they should be picking up. So this is, I think, in reference to the staffing function or the resource management that I'm talking about. That is why like it is all related. So that's what it is. Also, like, I thought of like I would get an opportunity to coach them to manage conflicts when they are in a conflicting situation in their day-to-day working life, empathize with them, and also act as a people advocate during grievance handling situations. And so on. I mean, the list is really long. So these were the really main, major points that I could think of to be highlighted here.
Good to know that, Githika, another common background, fortunately or unfortunately, my mother was also a teacher, and I also studied in the
Wow.
same school where she was a teacher. So I don't know, Ashish, how how
Kalpana, my elder sister, she has also been a teacher. So
good. So I think when Ashish saying this list of HR enthusiasts, so I think why I chose Githika was clear that I didn't know her at all. But after getting to know about her introduction, it seems like I am seeing the younger
I think there is a network glitch happening. Githika,
yes, I guess so.
it
Yeah.
resembles to my background as well. So yeah, good to know about
we
that,
can be
Githika.
on. I
And
think there is also
before
there's a background noise which is happening. We can keep ourselves on mute when other one is speaking. I
I
think
think
that will
yes,
help
sure,
out.
sure. Yeah.
yeah, it's better now, it seems. So, before we start the session, we thought that we'll have a quick rapid fire. Rather, I thought that why not to put our HR Sampark curator, basically HR curator, into some kind of a trouble. I won't say it's a trouble, Ashish. All the very best. So, rapid fire to both of you right now. Rapid fire questions to both of you right now. So, maybe first to Ashish. So, let me just open what I have written for Ashish. So, Ashish, quickly describe your personality in one word.
Selfless.
Nice. Githika?
Go getter.
Nice. Okay. So, another one. Now, I'll start with Githika because otherwise, obviously, the other person gets an advantage. So, yeah, Githika. What does HR mean to you? One word.
What does HR mean to me? HR, I will not say the normal HR functions or the layman definition, definitely not with so many years of experience. HR, of course, it's people. We, as people, I would say, HR. That's a simple answer. It is not talent acquisition. It is not, resource management. It is not performance
Githika, it's a
management.
rapid fire. Rapid fire. It's one word only. Okay, Ashish, over to you.
Help.
Help. Okay, good. So that's it. As far as our rapid fire round is concerned, so we would be having a very short game at the end as well as promised, Ashish. So maybe now we will unveil the journey of Miss Gitika Sharma. So Gitika, you've told us about your background. Now, please don't tell me another similar thing about your experience, personal experience. Like it seems like most of the things are happening here. Seems like of my life. Okay. So maybe when I was going through your profile, LinkedIn bio, Githika, I found that you've gone through this transitioning from staffing to the corporate world, staffing or consulting firm, rather to be very specific, to the corporate world. So how has that journey been in your life? How the corporate world has treated you, because you came from consulting background. So what kind of challenges did you face? Gitika on mute.
Sorry. Sorry. So I would portray this in a way that the challenges were not when I joined the corporate, but it was more when I wanted to join a corporate. We are talking about 10 years or 12 years back, wherein, the industry, there was very little acceptance of people working in consulting firm who wanted to move to corporate, because therein, like, I think there was a mindset that maybe consulting firm, people who are working there do not have experience of the entire talent acquisition cycle or the recruitment cycle, and they might, might struggle also. So I did face that hurdle a lot. That was really a big challenge. And then the thing is that I kept trying. A lot of people that I used to interact with, even the HR clients that I used to interact with while I was a part of HR consulting firm. Uh, I used to visit their profiles, look at that, like from which background they have come from, so that I can really prepare myself for that next shift. But then at that point of time, everybody was like a direct corporate hire. I could really find any profile wherein this shift somebody would have made. But then, of course, I would say the persistence and resilience, these two factors which make me like kept going at that point of time, and I continued my search. Finally, I did get an opportunity to work with a mid-sized corporate, and I thought like it will be a good platform for me to enter the corporate world and learn things. How did it happen? Of course, there's a difference which I felt in terms of role. I did not find any hurdles or challenges when I joined the corporate, but there was a lot of learning that I would say. While being a part of consulting firm, what basically a recruiter does, understanding the demand or stakeholder management, searching people through different sourcing channels, talking to them, aligning them for the interviews. After that, like it's no job that you have to do. Maybe a little thing that you keep an app on the joining of the person. That's it. But when I moved to corporate, from that role, it was a very different role, right? I was actually sitting the other side of the table. I was into contractor engagement team. Then, of course, empaneling new vendors, managing the existing vendors, sharing demands with them, ensure that they are really working as per the guidelines of the organizations and helping with profile submissions and getting us closures. So it was really a great learning, I would say, wherein I could use my consulting experience, that what challenges a recruiter in a consulting firm faces, and then being at this side, in the corporate side, I could share my guidance with them, that how can they the consulting firm recruiters can cope up with that problem and help the organization or the client with good number of submissions or the right set of people. So I think that learning really helped me. And I remember the recruiters used to tell me, oh, you come with a lot of understanding, you don't put any unnecessary pressure on us, or maybe like you're not like calling us several times, because we understand in just one go that what we need to find and what could be like good to have or nice to have in just one go. Otherwise they said like a lot of back and forth that they used to experience. So I think that I would see that one of the learning for me to understand this side of table, and share my experience also with the consulting firms or recruiters. So that I would say. And then this was definitely a paradigm shift for me, because things do work very differently in an organization, in the corporate HR function. Be it talent acquisition, be it staffing, be it we talk about the HRBP role. It is extremely different, to be very honest.
I think, Gitika, yeah, Ashish, please continue.
I'm sorry to बाद में I thought of saying two lines for Githika for your answers. That चलता रहूंगा पथ पर चलने में माहिर बन जाऊंगा या तो मंजिल मिल जाएगी अच्छा मुसाफिर मिल जाएगा.
तो मंजिल का तो पता नहीं, बट मुसाफिर अच्छी बन गई है गीतिका, isn't it, Gitika? So I think
हर
people
कोई
are
मुसाफिर है कल्पना. The life is a journey, as we say. So it has to continue till you are here on this planet.
right. So I think people or HR professionals or people who have done masters in HR and have started their career in consulting firm and think that they cannot enter into corporate world, I think they should visit Gitika's profile. And अगर time मिले तो मेरा भी देख सकते हैं, because we both entered into corporate world, coming from consulting background, and I do understand what kind of challenges one faces, because you always try to dream yourself being into the corporate world rather than starting your career with a consulting firm. But as Gitika rightly mentioned,
Githika, you can be on mute. I think there is some.
so persistence is the key. I think Gitika has rightly portrayed it. So moving to the next topic now, Gitika, I think you have beautifully clarified some of the doubts which people might be having, that the career, if this kind of a career is possible or not. Because believe me, when I joined from a consulting firm to a corporate world, for me also it was quite a dream come true kind of a thing. So now moving to the another question, I think Ashish has introduced already about this month, a Pride Month, Diversity and Inclusion Month. So another question to you right now is, we speak a lot about diversity and inclusion. What has been your experience about this topic?
Sure. So, my experience, Kalpana, about diversity and inclusion, I would say recently, if you talk about it, is a very positive experience. The organization that I'm part of currently, we really, follow diversity and inclusion at a great level. We do have regular webinars happening on that. We are educating our internal people, and the talent acquisition strategies that we are following are, in fact, talk about any organization, be it like IT industry or a non-IT industry. I think we as people, or I would say part of organization, we have understood the importance of it, because if we really follow diversity and inclusion, we can reach heights together. So, be it like gender equality, I would say a gender balanced workforce. Every organization is focusing on that, which is a great thing. Otherwise, we talk about some years back, you are a maternity LOA back. I think it was very difficult, to get into a corporate wherein a high level of commitment was required. Work from home provision that the organizations worked on, which is really great, and that's not just for the female fraternity. I would say it is even for the for males as well, that organizations are kind of very much accepting this. We talk about the LGBTI community as well. So that is also one part of it. Persons with like disabilities, people from different cultures, different languages they speak. So equal opportunity, equal pay, equal treatment for everybody, and then bringing everybody together, making them feel that they are part of one group and everybody stands equal. That really helps in achieving the organization goals. I also believe that this is just people do say like this is HR's KRA or a responsibility. I would say this has to come from the business leadership, because they are like at the end who would be working with these kind of teams very closely, and there has to be some measurement also happening in this area, so that we can really keep our standards up and just continue with what we've been doing. So that is what my takeaway from this.
Okay, so Githika, even I was going through Michael Page's recent survey, and I found this data in that survey that 65% of the newcomers, or rather 65% of the employees, they prefer the organization where
Yes.
they can see a good percentage of diversity and inclusion, like they have that in their values. So that's
Yeah.
what our young generation thinks about.
Yes.
They actually value diversity and inclusion, not only having women in the organization. As you rightly mentioned, diversity doesn't mean only gender equality, so let us be very clear here. So so, ge- so diversity means so many things, and then inclusion over it definitely plays a very important role in a corporate world. So beautifully summarized, Gitika. So Ashish, do you want to add something here also?
I don't want to add, but I want to ask you a question. A question has come. I will, since we have so many questions coming, we don't want to go back and, put everything at one go in the end. So a question for you, KS has come is specifically, when being a diversity, everybody, as Gitika mentioned, the kind of, people who are there all comes in diversity. The question is being a diversity CHRO. How is the journey? How difficult? How easy is the journey? So this question has come to you.
So I wasn't expecting this, but yeah, I can share it.
This is
So
for
is
us to learn from you now, Kalpana.
sorry.
I'm saying this is now for us to learn from you that how as a CHRO diversity means to you.
Okay, so maybe I can share my own personal experience here. Like when I joined this organization, Landstorm, which I represent right now. When I joined 7 years back, I was the only female leader there, and we didn't have any. When I talk about diversity, when I talk about transgender, LGBT, so many things when we talk about, so we didn't have that kind of a discussion. Even I'm not talking about policies here, I am just talking about a discussion even. So even bringing all the thought leaders there, putting into their mind how diversity is important, was a great challenge at that time. But it required a lot of persistence. Most of the time I failed also miserably, because when I tried, I still remember that in one of the meeting 5 years back, when I showed this data of diversity and inclusion. So the leadership team members of one of the group function, they asked me that, why are you showing me this data? What is good in that, or what is bad in that? So I was shocked. And then I thought that it's not about making policies, it's about thought process. So before you think about, before you discuss about diversity, I think your thought process should also accept it. So I started having small discussions with all the business leaders there, and then starting with small steps, now I can proudly say that I think couple of days we had our business review, and I could see that 13%, yeah, 13% of the ratio which we were able to see as far as diversity and inclusion, from 0 to 13%. So that was a good shift, or I would say an average one. I still won't say that it's a good shift, but yeah, at least from scratch to some extent, 13% I was able to bring it on the table. And it was not only about bringing females into the organization, it was more about thought process. It was more about how it can add value, how different people with different thought process, with different background, can really give a very diversified culture to your organization, wherein everybody is acceptable, everybody feels accepted, everybody feels welcomed. So that is my journey. I don't know whether I was able to bring some perspective to it or not, but yeah, over to
Thank you
you.
so much, Kalpana. I think, thank you so much. I think this really helps because the biggest takeaway which I take it from your this is, we all want to be inclusive, but first of all, we need to think inclusive. Wanting and thinking has a big bridge, and which we as people function leaders need to close and bring everybody. I think thank you so much. I think audience will take this as a learning and start thinking inclusive before they want being inclusive. Over to you, Kalpana.
But Ashish, one more point here. So here I'm talking about India, but if you'll see Lindstrom Group's diversity and inclusion figure, those are 66%. We have 66%. I think more than that females in our organization, and from different background, and inclusion also. So from a group perspective, if I would say, for them it was never a matter of concern. But for India and other countries, Asian countries, I really had to strive further.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. I think that's very important for us because I always believe, I have always been lucky to 8 years of my career I have worked under diversity bosses, and they bring a sense of simplicity. My boss in Qatar Airways, Ms. Naira Banu Pachu, used to always come back and say, HR is a very simple function. Don't make it complex. It's a very simple function. So I think diversity brings in us as male people to how to act, how to regulate our emotions, how to respect each other, and how give dignified approach to everybody is very important. Thank you so much, Kalpana. Over to you. I think there is a network glitch which is happening that if any of us are not on mute, there is a background knowledge which is coming as if it feels that somebody, it's doing a trading. That I am hearing some maybe illusion something. So I will make it sure that when somebody is speaking, let us be on mute because I don't know something. This is the first time we are happening. I think no, Dipti. Thank you, Dipti. Dipti has pointed out there is a background noise happening in somebody of us. Thank you, Dipti. Will keep it ensure and no trouble. We will keep ourselves on mute. Over to you, Kalpana.
Thank you, Ashish. So, Githika, again, another question to you. Maybe now from your personal life, you've recently mentioned about COVID, the uninvited guest, I always say, in our life. So, I don't know whether to say that we all liked it or not, but yeah, definitely an uninvited guest in our life. So, how COVID-19 has treated you personally and professionally, and what kind of challenges did you face?
Right. I think, sharing about my experiences, it is more or less same for every individual who has been like into a job, personally as well as professionally, both. Uh, I talk about like a sudden shift from work from office to work from home on a permanent basis. Initially, it looked very nice. Oh, thank God, we don't have to travel for 2 hours one way to reach office. And then, when those 2 hours were like really coming out to be unproductive, managing the household things and all, or like, you are spending extra hours at work. and just feeling like claustrophobic at home. Then after some time, everybody wanted to like go back to office. When we heard, oh, probably offices will reopen, this is I'm talking about last year, then again, everybody had that feeling, oh, jana padega ab. How we would, again manage. So it has been like, I would say back and forth of feeling which used to come. And of course, like managing the household, managing your work, your commitments, and taking care of all the responsibilities with 100% efforts and accuracy. Specifically, personally for me, it had become very difficult. I was really trying hard to manage all my work, be it like my office job or like my home job, and I was like down on my health. And there was no reason that I could understand, why it was happening. 1 2 months, like I was literally, I used to feel like, just lying and doing nothing, backache or like headache all the time and all that. And then I think slowly again, I would say, your resilience, which helped me that this is what it is and it has to go for long. So get up, pull up your socks, and get on to your work. So it's all about, what I feel, it comes from your mind also, that you have to keep yourself motivated, and you can't be serving all 100%, and you cannot like really impress everybody. So try and manage what is the priority one for you, and rest, I think you can go a little, lenient on. But of course, what I learned out of all this, mental health is very important, that everybody needs to take care of. And we have been talking about mental health in the organization, or like in our peer group also, from last 1 year. However, I have been a very happy contender of managing mental health since beginning. If you are like really not feeling good, you cannot give your 100% at work. You can't be productive at all. So I think this COVID helped me to learn, and also share my learnings with my peer groups as well, that stay motivated, be positive, and try to do whatever is like in your purview, what you can really do mentally, physically, both. So that's what it is. Professionally, as I said, yes, of course, it was very difficult. People were like, spending more hours at work. One is you being in HR, you are also spending number of hours. Then the people you are managing reaching out to you, oh, how would it work? It is impacting us. We can't probably give 100%. It is getting just too much on us, and the expectations were like really high at that point of time. Organizations were laying off people. It was a very bad situation way back. I talk about June or July last year, 2020. So going through all that pressure, I mean, as I said, I'm like more of a people's person. If I used to get to know that this person probably has got been laid off, I had that impact on me for several days. Keep thinking about it, how that person would manage on a daily basis. Because if let's say somebody is just a single, bread earner for a family of, let's say, 4 5 6 people, it is absolutely unmanageable that how that person is going to really make the family survive. Plus, what is the mental health of that person at that point of time? Right. So that is one thing. I really tried, because I was myself a part of this laying off process, figuring out like who is performing, not performing, how we have to like bring out a list of those people. And believe me, personally, like as I said, people's person, I myself tried to save people and hide their nominations going for like final decisions and all. Very difficult task. Mentally, it was very much pressurizing. But of course, I would say my mantra: persistence, resilience, and confidence in yourself. Stay motivated. All that helped me. All that. So every evening, I used to sit down, make myself understand that this is what it is. This is the situation, and it is just a phase. It will go on. It will go off very soon. So just survive. So that's how it has been. And work wise, of course, so much of pressure, because we moved to a different model. Everybody was working from home. It's a hybrid model, I would say. I believe only people who need minimum micromanagement can actually survive in this particular model. So even guiding and coaching my people, the pod that I was managing on a daily basis, that how they have to actually take up their work these days, and still stay motivated to continue to be able to deliver, because the situation really wasn't great, I would say. But now, yeah, now this year, if I talk about when this this is second wave of COVID, I think we as people and organizations have really understood how to deal with it, how to survive, and we have like come way forward also from what we were last year and what we are as on today, how it impacted last year. This year, yes, I understand the wave was like really serious, but still we had that what we call jazba, that no, we will pass it on. So that is how it has been. Yeah, over to you.
Good to know about that, Gitika. And yeah, so when we from HR fraternity were hearing about layoffs in many organizations, it really ached in our heart because nobody, I think, even the business leaders would also not like to put themselves into that situation. So maybe Ashish, if you would like to say, Gitika, you have to mute it. Maybe
Gitika, if you can mute.
so. I do understand that pressure. I do understand about that mental block there because we all thought that what to do. That was completely a nightmare. Suddenly, we were put into a situation which we never
You
imagined.
Yeah, you know what?
Gitika,
When HR spoke, and then you are getting onto bench meetings on a daily basis with, like, let's say 50, 100 people, 200 people together, and then people are like really bombarding you with this question that, how will it be for us? Is there a project that we can be part of? And people really started asking very direct questions. Is the organization planning to lay off? And of course, like, we had taken up back that how do we deal with this situation. But of course, every HR individual would have a different way of dealing with this situation. Maybe some would be like very specific and crisp to answer as per the organization policy. Maybe some would be like, I would say, little, empathetic to understand people's situation and try to console them. Or maybe you give a very political answer. We've gone through all that, and maybe like mix of all these that you have to like tell people, just so that you are not creating any chaos amongst a group of, let's say, 100 200 people. So very strategically, that the situation had to be dealt with.
so
I will ask a
that's
question. Kalpana, there is a question for you. I think one of our previous emerging HR Soham Banerjee has asked something, but I will, remodify this question and ask from you because your words will encourage, and give a torchbearer approach to many of the people. We as people function have moved from transactional to transformational roles. And specifically in this, I will not say, still we are the days where when we started our career, we used to be looked at as a function which involves cost. What is the ROI on us? With you in terms of when you have seen the journeys of people growing and the organizations growing, and you have, yourself curated lot of journeys in people function in the span of your career. Your piece of advice or your, specifically, I am asking this question specifically for people function. In this pandemic, what do you think two, three things which we should start doing as people function, as HR leaders, as HR enthusiasts, as freshers in HR team or at middle level, regardless of what time zone we are in our career, which we should start doing so that any pandemic, any recession, all these, do not hit us. Like something which we have not done, but we should start doing. Any advice would you like to give on this so that, we don't want to live in a kind of dilemma in time of, in terms that saying that it's a VUCA world and something is wrong, and then you have to, come at a phase where HR might be retrenched by the organization due to the cost saving measures or, non-productive actions. So for us, if we as people function, we have chosen what we should do. Over to you. This is all years, entire community is focusing on this.
Am I audible, Ashish? Seems like some issue at my end. Okay. Good. So, Ashish, a very good question, first of all, whosoever asked. So, I was also thinking that how I have survived in last 15, 16 years and during pandemic, even last 1.5 years, and how I was able to save many jobs in my organization or wherever I was able to make an influence. First and foremost for HR people is empathy. I think before COVID, we all forgot about empathy to some extent. We all were running about
Kalpana, we just
ROI.
lost your voice.
Am I audible now? Githika is showing thumbs up, so maybe I'm audible then. Okay.
You're audible, yeah.
So first and foremost is empathy. So how I tried myself using my weapon, which is empathy. Why I'm saying weapon? Because I truly believe in empathy. So I correlated with the ROI. That was my mantra. So whatever the kind of action I was taking in the organization, I was able to bring perspective. I was able to bring value. I was able to bring the ROI on the table. So for an example, Githika was talking about mental health. So last 1.5 years I was talking about this in the organization that we must do something for mental health, and we got this associate wherein an app through which you can book a psychologist or various kind of sessions. You can have a counselor or whatever. So initially it was taken as a just a cost for the organization, but the moment COVID happened, everybody started to see the value of that particular tool. Why? Because I represent an organization which is into essential services. So, Gitika, my challenges were different. For you, the challenge was layoff. For me, the challenge was completely different. People have to come to office because we are from essential services. So, asking them to come to office during lockdown, when even government was not able to set the clear guidelines that who can travel, who cannot. So people were beaten up on the roads because the government points were not clear on the day of lockdown. And then in that scenario, there were a lot of there were a lot of chaos on the streets. So that really helped me again to understand the mantra, which is empathy. I spoke to people day in and day night. We don't call them blue collar workers, we call them frontline workers. So we used to speak to them, their families. We used to create those connects, and more than ever, Ashish, leaders were able to understand the importance of HR during that time. Like why HR is important in an organization, and what robot can do and what a human being can do during or amidst such challenging situation. So talking to each one of them every day, my team was talking to them each and every day about their well-being, about their health, about their family's health, how we can help them to come to office, how we can support them with immunity kit, how we can make sure that they are safe in the organization, what kind of steps we should take. So overnight the entire perspective about HR changed drastically, Ashish. How did it change? Because I made it sure, or rather my entire team and the organization, the leaders made it sure that each and every person should be valued in the organization. And the frontline workers whom we used to think that they are a part of the organization but might not be influenced to the management, but during those times we were able to understand that because of them we have jobs, because they were working at the unit and were able to support essential service providers. We were able to rather save our jobs. So mantra for any HR professional is, if you don't have empathy, believe me, I don't know how you would be able to survive even if you have best of the minds. So use your heart and brain both. So I tried using both in my entire 16, 17 years of my career. If I'm sitting with board of directors, I would always tell them about ROI along with my we care attitude, along with my heart, along with my empathy. I will never ever like lose my patience if somebody says that like why so much cost, why there is less return. So I will again make a strategy, again come up with different ideas, again give them a perspective that this is long term investment and you will definitely see results very soon. So in one of the meeting, even I asked my CEO when he was giving me one answer in my previous organization. I asked him that in the last statement he forgot mentioning about the we care approach or empathetic approach. So I asked him that you forgot this word. So this is our basic culture, isn't it? So he immediately smiled and said that, oh, that's our backbone. I thought that there is no need to discuss about it. I said, no, in every meeting it is important to speak about your heart also, so people are more interested to know that how your people have been taken care of in the organization. And you should reflect the same kind of character in your personal life also and in your professional life also. You cannot be diplomatic if you are a person different from inside and from outside. So that's how I deal with certain such situations. So I don't know whether I was
Thank
able to
you.
answer
No,
to
no,
you,
thank you so much.
Ashish.
No, thank you so much, Kalpana. I think this is a very good learning for all of us on a very serious note, because we forget edge also comes with human, and before being a good employee, let us be a good human being. I will also take this lead and, also ask a leading question to Githika. Audience has asked a question to you, is that when you can keep me on mute, so because there will be a background. So audiences, somebody has asked, as when we passed out from our PG, and the people who have taken HR specialization, there has been a decline over the years where students have not opted for HR as a specialization due to kind of role during campus interviews, lack of opportunities, more competition. So, Gitika, with your over a decade of experience, how have you seen the student community, and how would you like to advise, young HR aspirants who are still studying and want to take HR as a specialization? What would be your take on that?
Sure, Ashish. So I would, take up this particular question that when people say that there has been a decline in people opting for uh, HR specialization. I think some years back, yes, that was a scenario. The reasons were similar: lack of opportunities, not much organizations going to campus for the placements, and even if, like, we talk about off-campus placements, there are very very limited roles in the organizations. So I would say, let's say there are like 100 pass outs, there would be just one job. That is the ratio what I heard or read about it 5 6 years back. But later on, when we all started realizing the importance of HR, Kalpana was talking about ROI. What we say, or the organization say, or even the general people say that this is a thankless job or a non-revenue generating job, and then you guys just manage some events in your organizations. And I think the people, the community was not really equipped with the right information in terms of what HR stands for, and how does an HR role devised in an organization. What are the KRAs and all? To be very honest, when like I was about to pick up my career as an HR, many of my relatives were like, who had no knowledge about it. They were like, oh, it is more about administration. So I said, no, this is not HR administration. And I also took some time to understand. I read a lot of books. I reached out to people whom I knew who were like at a really good position in HR with organizations like Alcatel or PwC 10 12 years back that I'm talking about. And then I could really understand that what are the different roles of HR. I really don't think that even a student would really know that how HR works in different organizations. Maybe there's just one department of HR. Maybe, like, for example, you talk about IT industry, every function is like absolutely separate, and number of positions, I would say, huge. There's a huge scope in HR. But then at the same time, as an individual, as a student, you need to realize, do you have those traits to be a successful HR? And before that, I think understanding that what are the prerequisites that you need to have in your personality is very important to be a successful HR. And changing your mindsets that it is not a non-revenue generation profile, it is not an administration profile, right? It is not just about organizing events in the organization, or it is just not about helping somebody for a transport query, or helping somebody with stationery. No, the times have changed completely. We are absolutely in a different world now when we talk about the HR roles. It is a strategic HR role. It is no more an admin or providing a stationery or a pen and a notebook to an employee, or just helping a person to fill joining formality forms, or maybe managing their PF or their salary structure. No, it is not. It is extremely a wider area and directly related to ROI. When if an organization is hiring, I will specifically talk about the IT industry. When a recruiter is hiring engineers for delivery, I think they are directly helping organization in revenue generation. That engineer is going to work on a client role and bring us like money, profits, margins, right? So you really can't call this as a non-revenue generation or a thankless job. We as HRs, we're really doing a great job. So a lot of scope for students, and please analyze like what exactly your forte is, and please do not hesitate to pick up HR as your mainstream.
Thank you, Githika. I think our biggest takeaway for all the students before I hand over to Kalpana to take this forward is students. You know what Githika also mentioned, and if you would have understood, she mentioned always as HR and people function. She never mentioned the activities or the departments of HR. If we are people centric people, individuals, whatever function do we get, we will always treat it as an HR as a gamut, in totality, as a holistic thing. So don't focus upon talent acquisition. These are activities of HR, and as you evolve in your career, you will be keep doing lot of other activities. But stay inclined to this people function. Thank you so much, Gitika. Over to you, Kalpana.
Thanks, Ashish. The only bit of advice to the students from my side is sorry, I can't resist myself. So I was reading this book of the life autobiography of APJ Abul Kalam Azad. So I could read one line which I thought that might be helpful for all of us. So here in Abul Kalam is saying that there were setbacks when he was in MIT, disappointments and distractions. But my father's inspiring words anchored me in those periods of nebulous drift. He quotes, "He who knows others is a learned, but the wise one is the one who knows himself. Learning without wisdom is of no use." So it's about all the functions. So learning without wisdom is of no use. So when we're talking about career, so please choose a right career which suits your aspirations. So why Gitika chose, she has her own answers. Why I chose, I have my own answers. But we actually saw a career in HR, and you can see from our journey as well. So there is a scope. However, it totally depends how you see the word and how you see yourself. So that's it from my side. Coming back to Githika, any setbacks which you think help you to improve or better? Any personal experience? I think you've shared so many experiences. Rather, I would change this question a bit and connecting with your last answer. That recently I saw a very, I think, long. I think couple of months back, I have seen a post on LinkedIn, and wherein it was mentioned that HR's new KRA or HR's KRA is making rangolis. So I was thinking that yeah, we put colors in everyone's life, isn't it? So and then people were responding to those questions, to that particular post, and HR people were taking it to their heart that why they have really underestimated our function, why they're portraying it into a different way. And but I took it in a different way. I thought that why not, we're definitely putting so much colors in their lives. We're using our heart, we're using our brain. However, a twisted one for you, how do you see this as a KRA. I have never seen this as a KRA in my entire life, guys. Yeah, that has never been there in my job profile. And I don't think Ashish had ever received such kind of a KRA in his life, and neither Githika. And believe me, if that would have been our KRA, we would not have been sitting in this platform and discussing about HR. We would have also been laid off and sitting at home and thinking that so घर पे ही रंगोली बना लेते हैं. So yeah, Githika, over to you. How do you address this?
Absolutely, Kalpana. Very good question. In fact, I was, waiting for such a question to be able to answer. Every time, people do ask me, if I say no, I was working till late. The question would be, HR में इतना काम होता है क्या? So I really have to make them understand it's strategic HR. This is what we do. That is what we do. And the discussion then goes in length, and then people are like absolutely quiet because they really don't know what it is. Coming back to making rangolis, unfortunately, I did not get any chance to make rangoli at workplace. But yes, I have definitely, as you said, filling people's life with colors. I think I'm really proud that I have done that for several years, and I wish to continue doing that for another like decade, I would say. So yes, rangolis, making colors, a lot of stand-up comedians making fun of, the HR role that, we manage events, as I said, and then making rangolis. No, I haven't got any chance, to be very, very honest. I have made many rangolis at home on the occasions like Diwali and all. But sorry, guys, no opportunity that I have got to make it at office physically.
Ashish, you wanted to add something. Please go
No,
ahead.
I could never come across such humorous. I was searching while, where could I find this post? This is something which is so unique to. Gitika, you can keep yourself on mute again. So it's so humorous, to come back. But I believe, I recall my father when I started 12 years back, and I told him I'll do. I was very keen in astrology. So he told that rather you spoil your career, everybody's career, you spoil yours by doing HR. So for him, we come from a very orthodox Marwadi family. So for him, HR was achar papad, And today, if I go back and try to explain my community what I do, the only thing they understand is I take interviews. I think, more than anything, what my submission to this is, rather than explaining everybody, and Githika rightly mentioned, is that rather than explaining everybody, are we convinced? Like three of us who are there, we have come over decades of experience and lakhs of people in our. We laughed it about. We took it in a very positive way. We were humorous about it. So anything which is pointed to us, which does not hold any of such of importance, what is our action to that? I think that defines HR, and I think that's a befitting response. What we did now to that post. Over to you, Kalpana.
Thanks, Ashish, because when I also saw that post, I was laughing my head out. Believe me, and I thought, and I did discuss with my team that let's put more and more colors in our employees' life. Doesn't matter. The person who cannot laugh on himself, he cannot laugh on anyone. Then he cannot make jokes. He cannot crack jokes. He doesn't have the authority even to crack jokes.
I also realized, sorry to barge in, but it's such a seamless discussion. We kept it, and we have just reached the end of the session, and I realized, I also thought it a point, when like people sit together, time is just a parameter, not to be judged, but it's so informative the discussions which we are happening, and as I say, digital media is here to stay. Whatever advice Kalpana and Githika you all are giving for entire HR community, if they take it seriously, they can craft their careers very nicely. This is it's so important that, and what we are also trying to do, audience, to help you to prepare your mindset according to that. The answers might be very specific to us, but whatever we are trying to give our thought process to you. HR is about thought process. It's about inculcating the actions. As Kalpana said, learn, unlearn, and relearn, and that's the HR journey. To you, So, Kalpana, over to you back.
Thanks, Ashish. As we have paucity of time, so I would ask the last question to Gitika then, and then maybe we can move towards the end. So, so what kind of dream do you have about HR, Gitika? What's your ideal word of HR? Gitika, you're on mute.
We both have made Githika in a lot of trouble. I am asking to
Sorry, there
unmute
was a
and you are asking
network
to
issue
unmute.
at my end. I'm back to answer Kalpana's question. So I was saying, Kalpana, these days, I think we are moving towards digitization and virtual learnings. Everything that we are doing like online because all of us are like working from home. Still, I feel that an ideal world of HR is completely linked to personalizations, creating personal connect and bond with people so that you can really understand that what shoes they are into, wherein like of course empathy and EQ comes in there. And then only I think we can make the organization run successfully. Otherwise, if there is no connect, there is no bond, it is not difficult to keep teams together, keep the organization together, and keep the group of people together as a family. So personalization, connecting, and creating bond, I would say that's the ideal HR world that we still have to continue with, even in the world of digitization and virtualization.
Very aptly said. And I think human beings without human touch can't imagine that word. How would they survive? So I think we are almost at the end of the session.
But
Ashish,
before we move on to that interesting game, and audience will also be awaiting to give a new concept to this. I have a last question for you, which an audience has asked, and I found it very interesting. And this is for people like us, Githika, many other in our genre, uh, and CHRO, the most coveted term, CXO level in everybody's life. Everybody aspires, every HR person who takes up HR specialization always aspires to be a CHRO. This is something there, and when you target to become a CHRO, I'm not saying in a good organization when you target to lead people function as a CHRO. What do you think HR people should start? One, you told empathy, that is for everybody, but people who are into over a decade into their career eyeing for that role, and you have got it, you have been into that role for quite some time. So I would have, I would have another question which they asked is life of a CHRO in a day, but I think that requires a lot of discussion. I don't want to limit that answer, and I will be personally interested to know, and will connect over, call to understand that. But in terms of competencies, in terms of the next level jump of this, sometimes what happens, why I'm asking, we get jobs even when we do interviews, we hire people who have done that role. You know, the people who are not done that role into the edge, just outside that borderline of that, how do you crack and how do you get that coveted role, and what an HR professional should do to get into that, apart from getting opportunities, but in terms of their skill development, capability building, in terms of their profile management, in terms of their career planning, how can one achieve this role? Over to you.
so if you're talking about CHRO role, so I'm sorry, Ashish, if I've understood correctly, because a lot of connection issues. So to reach to that level, or rather, to think about another level in HR, I would suggest everyone. That's my personal experience. In whatever the organization you are, try to learn that business in and out. So when I'm talking about business, it should not be only in HR terms. When you're sitting with CEO, you must be able to know that how does your balance sheet looks like, and how your salespeople are performing, what kind of advantage you can bring on the table, and how what kind of competencies you need to develop so that they can bring revenue on the table, what kind of competence development you would require, what are the things which motivates them. So apart from HR, use your brain to understand your business. Sit with CFO. That is the most challenging task, let me be very honest, Ashish. Me, I am from science background. I've done my graduation in statistics. So So for me it was still not an easy game, to be very honest, when I was sitting with CFO trying to understand balance sheet, trying to understand the depth of our business. But that really helped me and gave me a lot of perspective. Why can't a CHRO become an MD? Why can't a CHRO become the even the sales head of an organization? Why not even the CEM head, like customer experience head? There are so many platforms available in your portfolio. However, you are just stuck, you just want to be a CHRO. After that you think that the career is over. But for me, it's not over yet. वो कहते हैं ना, picture अभी बाकी है. So I'm trying to learn business, and that's what my management also always I have a very good mentor in my present organization, and who always trusts me a lot, and he has seen that business acumen in me somehow, and he's asked me to really think into different directions, and that really changed my perspective towards this role. So if HR leader, then there is no I think no other alternative at all. If you think, then that's wrong. So if you are an HR leader, you can definitely become a MD also. Depends what kind of business acumen you have developed. You can become a sales leader, you can become a customer experience leader. Any role you can choose for yourself. But CHRO is not a end of your career, because then you have group CHROs. You're sitting with a strategic team, learning different skills every day. I'm learning different skills at this age also. So I'm not that much older, guys. I'm just 3-4 years above the experience which Ashish and Githika are having right now. So I'm having 16 years of experience. That's it. But still learning every day new skills. Now the new buzzword is hyper personalization. I'm learning about that as well, how we can connect the digital world with personalization. So please keep learning and try to see different avenues in your career. Do not stuck at one particular title, that hey, my career is over here. No, you can pave your own path, you can choose your own destiny. I believe that you can write your own destiny also, if you believe so. So please believe in your skills and in your abilities. That's what I try to do. So that's it, Ashish. You rightly mentioned that it will require another session. If you really want me to put in a simpler words, so definitely it totally depends, boils down to us. I am quite ambitious. I don't restrict myself only to the title of CHRO. So I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Ashish. Seems like I've lost.
No,
So that's it from my side,
no.
Ashish. Over to
Thank
you
you.
again.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. I think that was very important. And participants, this is the esteemed KS. Giving another dimension to the question of the audience. And specifically, you recall us back with the league of Mr. Amit Malik, Dr. Samtrup Mishra, and Dr. Ashish Srivastav of PNB MetLife. All these people whom I named were CHROs in the organizations, and now are the CEOs of the current organization. So this is there from my end, and the audience will be have a lot of questions, but we'll come back. We have to respect time and the in terms of the session limits. Over to you, Kalpana, for the game, and then I will give a vote of thanks. And we are all curious about this game. We have seen this, but we want to play this.
So a wonderful session, Ashish, and wonderful learning from you, Githika. So I have learned so many things from you today, being on the same table. So thank you so much. So from my side, again, I always try to say one word about my personality, that is fun loving. So let's end it with some kind of a fun. So I think most of us might have heard about this game, Never Have I Ever. So seems like Githika, yeah. So now we can see you. I thought that you're already afraid and scared of. So let me just ask you very straightforwardly about this question. The question, I'll start with, never have I ever. If you have ever done it, please say I have. If you have not, please say I have never. So Ashish, never have I ever read an entire book in a day.
I have never.
You have never, Githika.
I,
I have just one in my whole lifetime so far.
Okay. The another one is, never have I ever been rejected in any interview. I have.
I have.
So
48 times.
Many.
I
Yeah.
have got I appeared in 48 interviews after I left Indian Railways in 2010, and I wanted to come into want to leave the personal department and come to the HR. At that 4 months when I was not employed, I appeared for 48 interviews. I still have that count, and I got rejected in all of them.
Okay, the last one now, Ashish, that was quite inspiring and motivating. I would definitely give you a call. How did you kept your motivation that time? So yeah, maybe the last one. Never have I ever taken a selfie sitting in office to post on LinkedIn.
I do.
I haven't.
Okay, so that's it from my side, Ashish. Over to you.
Thank you, Kalpana. I think this was very interesting. I think I was while this I played only three in couple of minutes. I thought of creating an entire session on this. Maybe creating another mad series next time and creating half an hour on this on Never I Have Ever, and getting people to spontaneously talk something which becomes revolutionary. You can always give. So I will go back to you to give a final shape to this, because this is your invention to us, and I was not aware about this game actually. But honestly, this session, while over an hour, one thing, when I spoke to you or Githika, over a couple of months we have been interacting, I am sure the kind of bonding which we have created. This is and that's how participants is very important. LinkedIn also says connections. How do we take this journey to a relationship depends upon individually, and I am so glad that Kalpana and Githika so welcoming, so straightforward, and so warm in terms of accepting what is there. That is one. And this session specifically, whatever we learned a huge. I think to sum up, to say what we learned will not be possible. But I think, Githika, first to you, that we never felt we are doing an enthusiastic. You already so polished, so articulated in your approach. It felt that we're listening to somebody who's very senior, very accomplished in his career, and your thoughts are so sorted. I think this is something all of us at our peer group should go back and reflect us back. I think appreciation is something in HR fraternity which we should inculcate, and that is something which I do it. And Kalpana, I've heard so much about you. We connected first time and you came forward to connect. I think the first thing which you did, and you broke all the benchmarks, was leading from behind. Coming forward and asking at your statute to if let me do it, I want to do it. I think itself that says a lot about your personality, and team HR Sampark is truly overwhelmed to have you. And Githika, thank you so much for accepting this. This session is will remain, as I said, digital media for a very long time, and this will create a lot of learning amongst people, that when we talk, as we have been part of lot of HR forums earlier, but the kind of enjoyment, the kind of fun, the kind of loving, the entire dimension to this mad which you brought it, I think truly, when we today end the first season of this mad 10 episodes, and when we unveil the second one after the Nology Carva, I think it will see a new flavors. And I think thank you so much, Kalpana, for giving this your uh, craftsmanship to this to touch. We are truly overwhelmed. I think this is a learning coaster. ये 1.5 घंटा, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, 70 मिनट थे आपके पास, और आपने ये 1 घंटा 16 मिनट जो था हमारे पास, वो हमने उसमें जो जो सीखा है, आई थिंक that will remain for us, and we will try to take this forward from there. The learning will not just go waste. We'll ensure that this is cascaded down to the last mile into the people function, and everybody gets advantage of it. Githika, your parting words before we end this session.
Sure. I would again thank you, Ashish, for really providing me this great platform to share my journey. I think this is my first experience to be part of such a platform, and getting an opportunity to talk about my journey so far, my experiences, personal, professional, everything. And Kalpana, thanks for keeping so much of patience for 3-4 weeks. And just like I was just thinking that maybe I'm not well, so of course I missed the opportunity, I missed the chance. But I really thank you. You patiently waited this to happen. Out of this session, I being an enthusiast here, But to be honest, Kalpana, I'm taking away a lot of learning from you. I used to talk to Ashish a lot about, like, how do you do a paradigm shift in your career, being just into talent acquisition and then moving to HRBP role. There is no acceptance in the industry because everybody wants with similar experience. The last thing that you shared, like about, the CHRO being knowing or gathering more information on the business side, or maybe that person can be uh, a customer person, or a sales head, or maybe sitting with a CFO and understanding those figures. So I think that really helped me as an individual to understand that what could be the next level that I have to really start learning things. So not just being an enthusiast here, I am taking away a lot of learning, learning, ideas from you. And I'm sure this will really, help me also to grow in career further. And it was really great interacting with both you, Ashish, and Kalpana. I mean, I really can't, summarize in simple words at all, because for me, it's the first experience. It's going to be there with me lifelong now by heart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
inviting me.
much, everybody. Thank you so much, participants. Be safe. Be take care of your loved ones and reach out to us. We all are there on LinkedIn. The community, as we mentioned at the first time, is about support, help, being together. We all are there on LinkedIn. Please reach out to us. Any support, if we can do any help to your career, to your life, any guide, we'll be happy and privileged to that. And that is one open offer from HR Sampark team, which we give it to everybody. Kalpana, a great thank you again. And Githika will soon catch up in Delhi as we land up. And I hope, when we have much more to discuss and take this forward from there. Kalpana,
Sure.
thank you so much. Githika, please be safe and, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Please
so much, Ashish. Thank
take
you.
care. Bye.
Bye bye.